Welcome to Anderson Penn's Sunday Brunch Menu 10 for Sunday, June 12th, 2022. My name's Eric, and just in case you didn't know it, that's Brian over there, Brian Anderson. How are you, Brian?
Fantastic. How are
we
you?
missed a week. I'm great, thank you. We missed a week. Well, there was a holiday.
Yes, there was.
So we apologize, but we took the holiday, didn't we?
We did. Took the day off.
I understand you have a joke for me, and I understand that because you just found it and you were giggling about it. So please, tell me what your joke is.
Knock, knock.
Come in. Who's there?
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Oops, I did it again. I told you.
Did you hear that NASA found bones on the moon?
Get out.
Yeah, the cow didn't make it. That's horrible. That's horrible.
That's horrible. Yeah.
June 12th is today, and it is National Peanut Butter Cookie Day. I am mentioning that only because I don't much care for peanut butter cookies. How do you feel about peanut butter cookies?
The Girl Scout peanut butter patties.
I don't think I've had those.
Fantastic.
I usually go for the Thin Mints.
So, but the only ones I eat though. I'm not a huge peanut butter cookie fan, other than those.
They're quite old though. Peanut butter began showing up as an ingredient in cookies in the 1920s. In 1922, Joseph Rosefield patented a process of homogenization and sold it to a company that began making peanut butter called Peter Pan. Do they still have Peter Pan peanut butter? I haven't seen it.
No idea.
We've already done the jokes. We have show and tell, but before we do show and tell, please like this video and consider subscribing to our channel. What have you got for me?
Today,
watch. Start with the watch.
Oh, start with the watch. Oh,
Start with the watch.
I don't think I've shown this one before. Maybe I have. Apologies if I have. This is the Grand Seiko reference SBGM 221.
Does it say that somewhere on the thing? Or do you just know it?
We just know it.
You just know it, okay.
It's on the back, I think. But this is the GMT, the automatic GMT version.
Are you talking about Greenwich Mean Time?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can't actually see the GMT hand right now because it is covered up by the minute hand.
It gives you a second-hour hand that goes for GMT.
Yes.
And does it have to be GMT?
No. In fact, I got some grief on this because I set my GMT hand to Tokyo time. So. So right now in Tokyo,
who gives you grief about that?
Well, you're watchmakers.
Okay.
Some people have given me.
They really want it on GMT.
They want it on GMT, but I keep it on Tokyo time.
Well, why don't you put the GMT hand on GMT and the other two hands on Tokyo time?
Then I'll never get anywhere on time.
But that's what the watch was, to tell time in Tokyo and GMT.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's beautiful.
But
beautiful.
It's one of my
You're
favorites.
not going to get me into watches. Did you bring a pen?
I did bring a pen.
I see it in your shirt.
This is, I'm a real big fan of this pen.
You were waiting for this.
I was waiting for this. Yeah, this is the Waterman Carene Essence de Bleu.
That cap is amazing.
Yes, yeah, the nice. It's really convenient, especially when I'm doing shipping and things like that. I could just easily pop it off. It's got this beautiful inlaid nib, gold nib, and then it's got this interesting profile. It's shaped kind of like a boat, and that's what the Carene is supposed to be, the hull of a boat.
And this is blue.
This is blue, yeah. Blue. Dark blue.
This is blue wave, is it?
Yeah, with this beautiful.
That's the wave.
I mean, look when you spin that, it's just really cool. So I love these pens, and when they announced this, I said I had to have it. So
yeah, I think you had the ballpoint or something, and you said no, I'm waiting for the.
Yeah, the ballpoint came in like a week before
the
the fountain pen did. So
well, I see why you waited. It's a nice pen.
It's a great pen.
Waterman.
Carene.
I brought something, and you recognized it.
Yes.
This is a Ford patent pen.
The height of nerdiness.
Yes, it's entirely over-engineered.
Okay.
But I like that, and I'm not sure it works. So let's find out. Just like a regular pen, the cap comes off. It does have a hard rubber. Yes. Mm-hmm. It has a safety shutoff that the cap actuates. It's this portion. When you put the cap completely on, this gets pushed down.
Oh, okay.
And just like any other piston filler, you turn the piston filling knob, and look, the whole nib just turns.
Thing goes.
And the barrel basically comes off, and you get what was probably the first clear barrel that you can. Ever since we've wanted to see our ink levels.
This is probably what, late 1930s.
It's 1930 exactly, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I made notes. 1931 is when it was manufactured and sold, and it looks like it was only done for that year.
Oh, okay. Well,
They call it a syringe filler.
do we know what material this is? Is this a bakelite?
No.
Maybe?
Keep going.
Celluloid?
Some kind of celluloid. It started life clear, I understand, and it has turned to this color. You can make a replacement, but then, of course, it would not be original.
Yeah, you can see a little, does it look like a little shrinkage maybe on the ends?
Yeah.
Yep.
They call it a syringe filler, so when you pull this, it sucks in the ink.
Okay.
But something interesting about the seal is that it moves. And when it moves on the downstroke, it allows the ink to get behind it. Whoops. And so we'll play with this when we're doing our filling systems.
Okay.
It puts a lot of ink in here.
Does it leak? Let's do it now.
Well, I filled it with water before we started this. Oh, you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
So it should fill mostly with water, just pulling it up. And it did. Mm-hmm. Now, if I just did it this way, the ink would come out. But if you let the ink come up, the air is on the top, and I'll just push it down, and you see you can get the plunger on the other side of the ink. I don't know if you got to see that.
Huh.
But now I can fill it again. And did air come out? And now I've got even more ink.
Oh, so we're treating this like a vac.
A vac syringe filler?
Yeah, and such that you get the air out and then.
So yeah, it's over-engineered, and I haven't measured. We should measure how much ink this. And this isn't the largest version either.
No, they made it oversized. Yeah. Well, that's probably got to be at least 4 or 5 mils. 4 mils,
yeah,
maybe?
That should last you forever. The designer of the pen, George Stuart Vivian, wanted a large ink capacity, good ink visibility, and protection against leaks, and he got it.
Nice.
And it's a nail of a nib.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But do you remember a pen show where I stole your jacket because you let me borrow it?
And then you proceeded to...
I think I kept it for years.
I think you still have it.
No, it's on your wall.
Yes, I remember.
That's where I got this pen. That was,
okay. Was that Dallas
Ohio.
or Ohio? Okay.
Yeah. And
Very
that
neat.
was years ago.
Oh, that was ages ago, yeah. You had the jacket for at least 5 years.
So what are we going to call this filling system? Not a syringe filler. Although that movement kind of it fills on the backstroke.
Yeah, Ford syringe filler, maybe.
Syringe filler plus.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything like that. I might have something, but nothing like that.
That brings us to our subject of the day. I think, yes. Last on Sunday Brunch number 9, we did a group of fountain pen filling systems. And now we are doing part 2. Show me what you got.
All right. So I brought a couple examples of everything that we're going to talk about here. Just because sometimes one is not really... always the best. So we're going to start out right at the beginning. Eyedropper. So this is an eyedropper filler. This is actually a Parker 20 in mottled hard rubber. Lucky Curve. Fairly scarce, I guess, in this configuration. But it still has the Lucky Curve intact. And you would literally just fill this with an eyedropper. And usually the pens would come with an eyedropper. A lot of them did in the box. So you would just fill up your ink and then put your, just like you would today if you're using any of the current pens that have an eyedropper conversion.
Right. This is essentially, I'm sure you've brought one, essentially a safety filler, but the nib and section comes off.
Yes. Well, let's flip it around. The safety filler is essentially an eyedropper.
Right.
So there's that one. And then I brought this one for you because I saw this and I thought, well, you'd like this one.
Oh, is it for me? Thank you.
Yeah, not quite. So here's another one. This is a Maybe Todd Swan, number 8 size.
Ginormous.
Screw cap.
Look at that nib.
And look at that nib. Isn't that beautiful?
Wow.
But this is the same way. Lots of threads. Put a little silicone on there. This has got an unusual feed here.
Interesting.
But then you just fill the barrel up. Now this one will hold a ton of ink.
Looks it.
This will hold a ton of ink. This is also an example of why you want to go to pen shows. I bought this at a pen show. I think I may have paid $50 for it.
Wow.
For a number 8 size Swan.
In this condition, or did you do stuff?
No, in this condition. There is some damage here to the barrel right on the imprint, but $50 is way less than what it's worth, even as it sits.
Yeah.
So eyedropper first, essentially filling system, very simple pens. I mean, you're talking 5 parts, essentially cap, barrel, section, nib, and feed for these pens. Clip on that one, I guess. But
did you say that these are basically the first fountain pens that held ink?
Yeah, first fountain pens.
So we went from dip pens to
this.
to eyedroppers.
Yeah. So let's do this one next.
And that was about 1655.
These are this Parker 20 is pretty old. This is probably late 1890s.
Okay.
This one's more into that early 1900s, 1910s maybe. So this next one that I brought out here is a cute little diamond point, and this is an eyedropper. So same thing here. This opens up and you can fill it right in the barrel. However, this has a unique feature. And you notice this extra long cap. Cap's almost as long as the barrel.
Yes.
Well, the cap is actually shorter than it should be because you see there's a hole in the top. There actually was another piece that threads in. You can see the threads here. And if you look right here at the top here, it says ink tablet, unscrew top, patent pending. And then there's an arrow that points here. So this would be what we might refer to this as a trench pen. Parker made them, but they're exceptionally rare. But you could keep little ink pellets. They sold ink in pellets, and you could keep extra ones in the top there. So then you always had ink, and you just added water.
Add water and turn the ink.
So if you're literally in the trench, you've always got something to write with.
Interesting.
So not necessarily a different filling system, but
an interesting pen.
Yeah. We already mentioned safeties. So let's take a look at a couple of those. I'll pull these out of the way. Here is one of my favorites. This is an Aiken Lambert safety. Very, very hard to find these. This one is in pristine condition.
Oh, but it's missing a nib.
Yeah, so now had this been inked, I never would have opened it this way. With safeties, you always have to open them this way because essentially this is an open vial of ink. So if you open it this way, it's going to pour out. But this little knob on the end, you just turn this, and then the nib comes out.
And you must do that before you put the cap on.
Yes.
And you must retract the nib to fill it.
Yes, you retract the nib to fill it, extend it here, and then before you put the cap on, because obviously this won't work.
In fact, you can ruin the nib.
You can ruin the nib, quite frankly, yeah. There are some safeties that will operate by putting the cap on the back end, and then you can use that to turn the knob.
And this feels essentially like an eyedropper.
It's an eyedropper, yeah.
Now, you don't need to use an eyedropper.
No.
You can use a syringe.
Syringe, pipette, whatever you want to use, yeah.
Hose.
So that's a standard, and this is exactly like what you would expect to see from Waterman. And I brought another one here. So this is what we would consider, we would call this maybe this is Italian, so we would call it kind of we call them continental overlays. But this one is an Oceanica, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And same idea here. Twist it and then it comes out. But this one has some lovely work on the clip on the top.
Gorgeous pen.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, real pretty. But then your nib is always submerged or partially submerged in ink. So when it does extend, it's always ready to go. Yeah. So that one's got a little bit of a flexible nib to it too. So that's a safety. Now that's a standard. There are a couple different kinds of safety. So there's this kind and then there's more. The Moore company.
More safety filler?
This particular one here is an early example, as can be evidenced by short cap and rectangular breather hole here on the slide. But this one, same idea, hold it upwards and take off the cap. And then all we do here is we slide this up.
And the nib comes out.
And the nib comes out. Yeah, there's no twisting involved.
And to retract the nib?
Just pull it out. Just like that, yeah. And then this would fit on the end here. Now you will notice here on the end there's a hole there.
Okay.
And if you look inside the cap, I don't know if you can see it, but there's remnants of a little rod.
A rod, pin.
It's a hard rubber rod. So the idea is that if you put it in,
couldn't do that.
It would touch up against the feed and push the feed down so it wouldn't bend the nib.
Also like a safety.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yeah. So I don't know how well that would work, but that was the original idea. So this is and of course it's got this beautiful snail pattern overlay on it, which I love. Yeah.
Very shiny.
Really great. They later switched over to this style. This is a little bit later, and while we're
same company, this is more.
Same company. This is more. This is the kind you normally see. But the reason I brought this one is when we're talking about a trench pen. This pen was very similar. So let's first show. And here we just push it up, and the nib is a disaster on this one. But look at that. Look how cute that is.
Tiny it becomes.
But then here it's decent length. Mm-hmm. But what we have here is you see this big hole, obviously. There is a piece missing.
The piece that covers that hole?
Yeah, there's a piece that covers that hole. It was glass.
Oh.
But you can unscrew this, and then you would have your ink tablets would go inside this.
And with a window to see.
With a window to see what you've got left, yeah. So, and it says here the ink tab.
Ink tab.
Yeah.
So this was a big thing, carrying ink tablets.
Yeah, make sure you always had ink. Yeah.
As long as you had access to water.
Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of a fun model. I like that one. All right. So we've got safety. Those are essentially eyedroppers. I've got a couple of other ones while we're still talking about eyedroppers. We're going to go to the other continents. We'll go to Japan. Here is a pilot. This is actually I think this is from the early 40s. But this is an eyedropper with an ink shutoff, which is very common in Japan.
Ink shutoff.
And so you unscrew this, and this is plastic, celluloid. And so then this rod just...
What do you mean ink shutoff? Oh, the rod has something on it that pushes up against the
feed. So if I unscrew this...
You have to unscrew it a little in order to write.
Yep.
To get flow.
Just like a VAC 700 or an 823. And let's see if we can see. If you can see the end of that rod.
Would push up against it.
Yeah.
When it's closed.
Seals up right against that. But this was an eyedropper.
This is cute.
Even in the 40s, yeah. What a neat color too. Like a dark bluish gray.
Yeah, I would have mistaken it for an English pen.
Yeah. So classic pilot clip. And then this one here, just for fun, my earliest Sailor. This one from the mid 1920s, so very soon after they were formed. Also has shut-off valve, and 14 karat gold nib, and then there's your hand.
So every pen you've shown us so far has been basically an eyedropper.
Basically an eyedropper, some variation thereof, but very common in Japan, and in Asia to have ink shut off on an eyedropper pen. Very common.
That's a Sailor, man.
That's a Sailor, yeah. That's very early Sailor. You'll notice on the top, too, it's also got this red dot.
Yes.
And they colored their dots based on the nib size. So red was medium. There was a yellow, which I think was fine. And then there was a blue or a green or something for broad.
Very nice, Mr. Anderson.
So, all right. Next up, while we're still on Japan, is my last Japanese pen in the bunch. This here is an early pilot. It's actually marked Namiki Manufacturing Company. But this is an eyedropper as well, but it doesn't have a shutoff here. We open this up, we'll see just a standard barrel. And we've got an interesting pin here. And what this does, if you see there's a little dot there, a little dimple.
Yes.
Okay, and if we go over to this side, you see there's a little dimple there.
Okay.
The idea with this pen, and this one currently is not working, and I may take this apart later today, but the idea is that you would rotate this section so that both of these dots line up. And then when they line up, then ink can flow from the barrel through to...
Oh, and when they don't
line up. The nib. When they don't line up, it's shut off, yeah.
How interesting. But it currently does not rotate.
It does not, no.
Oh, well, you don't have to break it for us.
Yeah. That's my earliest pilot, so.
Interesting. Now that I have never seen before.
Yeah. So, and that's...
align the dots.
Yes, you align the dots.
To right.
So, very, very early. What's next? What should we do next?
Well, you've done an eyedropper. What came after that? We probably covered that last week.
Let's go straight into lever filler.
Okay.
So Schaefer came out lever filler approximately 1912, 1913 ish, and this is an early example with a cool chasing pattern.
Now these eyedropper fillers and safeties, which are basically eyedropper fillers, they don't have sacks in them.
No.
You're just putting the ink in the barrel.
Literally 5 parts.
Right.
Cap, barrel.
This is going to have a sack and a bar of some kind.
Yes. So this everything from here on out will pretty much, all of them will have sacks.
Okay.
Yeah. But lever filler, and then this is an early pinned lever, so it's pinned through the barrel. And I don't know if this one has a sack in it or not. But you would put it in here.
I'm not sure we're on camera there.
We're not on camera there? You would put it in here.
So when you pull the lever, it pushes down on the bar.
Pushes down on the bar.
Pushes all the air out of the sack.
Compresses the sack, yeah.
When you release the lever, it
sucks it in.
Yeah.
So I heard a little bit of air, so I don't know. So let's see what we got. Okay, so there is I put a sack in there.
You got a sack or a very strong suction around the barrel.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is also hard rubber. So and a
nice nib.
And a bent nib, but it's got some flexibility to it. Yeah. I just haven't gotten around to getting it straightened out, but so Schaefer's the first one to come out with the lever filler.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about other lever fillers. There are others. So this here,
they all. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say they're all lever fillers. They all basically work the same way.
They all basically work the same way. A couple companies decided they were going to do something different, and they reversed the lever.
Do we call that a reverse?
I'm just going to call it a reverse lever filler, I suppose. Part of the idea being, when I put this in my pocket, I can't get it caught on the end of the lever. So whereas this, if your lever was maybe a little sloppy or it was sticking out, you could catch it on your shirt, which would then pull the lever out, which would compress the sack, which would mean you would have ink pooling in your cap, coming out, maybe getting on your shirt. It might have. It might have. So this here is a. This is the only example I have. Is an Eigenstop. Pretty hard to find these, but this has a reverse lever, so it goes the other way. It goes this way. If you put it in water,
you're pulling up.
Pull up. Yeah, this way.
And this one you push down when you have the nib in.
Yes, yeah, you would pull it down this way. Yeah.
But other than that, it's the same thing.
Other than that, it's the same idea. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Lever, reverse lever.
And then while we're talking that,
Side lever.
this here is I've got two of these. These are snap fills.
Snap fill.
Snap fills. Yep. And the idea here is the same. The lever goes in the reverse way, but these have a neat feature on them. See, when I pull this out, there's actually a little tang there.
Yes.
And then that goes down and it hits the bar, and then to fill,
an aerometric.
you just push down like that.
And they call this a snap filler.
This is the Snap Fill company.
Snap fill company.
Yeah. So
What's this filling system?
It's like a lever, but it just has a little help there for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah, it's like a lever because a lever is on it and comes up, but you're filling that like an aerometric now.
I guess I wouldn't call it an aerometric. This one's got a good sack in it, apparently.
Surprise.
So a little bit easier to operate, and then you just flip that back, and you're good to go. Another company that did this was Solar, which was a kind of neat company. But this is the most common type of snap fill you'll see, is this long tapered ones.
I would say that's a desk pen. Is that a desk pen?
Interesting about these is
like a ring?
Yeah, and then they would come with the chain and a little a little pin. But yeah, so that's got the same thing. And then
that is cool.
Down. Yeah. Just a little something easy to help you. That way you don't have to get your fingernails. Sometimes when you working with lever fillers a lot, sometimes you
drives me nuts.
You it hurts your finger. But this is really super easy. Oh. Snap. There we go. So that's
cool. Snap filler,
or reverse lever, I guess. Oh, let's see what else we got here.
So because you said everything we're going to see now has a sack, all we're really looking at are different ways of compressing the air.
Different ways of compressing, getting there. Pretty much. There's a couple here that don't have it. Let's go straight to button filler, and then this is going to be the newest pen you're going to see all day here. This is a senior Mandarin dual fold. A little bit of ink on there. But on these, in most Parkers early Parkers are this way. You have blind cap that comes off, hard rubber blind cap, and then there's your button.
And you just push the button?
So yeah, you just go in here.
It doesn't have a lot of play. It's amazing that it compresses the...
Yeah, it's real long, so it compresses the full length of the sack. So it really, really gets a good fill.
Oh, nice.
So this was Parker's reaction to a lever filler, and so Parker actually, with the exception of some Parkettes in the I guess those are in probably the late 30s or 40s. Parker never really made a lever filler. They were always button fillers until the Vacuumatic came around.
I don't know why I prefer a button filler, but it's just easier.
It doesn't break up the barrel like a lever filler does. There's always a hole in a lever filler in the barrel. They're easier to polish. It's just a nicer look.
I don't dislike a lever filler. If I had to choose between lever or button, I'd go for button.
Lever is super easy to repair, though. That's the catch. And this is kind of a side anomaly. This is an Esterbrook relief made by Conway Stewart.
Interesting.
Nice chasing pattern on this. This is a Model 2S. And what the S stands for is stud, which essentially is a button.
It's a stud filler?
They call it a stud filler, yeah. So essentially it's the same thing. It's a button filler. So this one doesn't have a good sack in it, but same thing.
That would operate the same way.
Yeah, yeah. These are a little bit more difficult to get apart than the Parkers.
Very interesting. Is it basically just a copy?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they called it a stud filler, but...
Did you want to make it obvious?
Oh, yeah, I want to make it obvious. Yeah. All right. Next up, let's talk... Oh, this is fun. Let's do this. Got a couple of these, and you can tell me what you think these are.
Those are fountain pens.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't know what they are.
So these are both no names. I think this is, yeah. So these are, they don't have a manufacturer's mark on them.
The lever is missing on
The lever is missing, yeah. So what this is I don't actually have a coin. I should have brought one, I guess. But this is a coin filler. So you see that shape?
So you put a coin in there.
You would put a coin in there.
A dime or something.
And then just press down on it. Yeah, and that's what you use to compress the sack.
Coin filler, we're calling it.
Coin filler, yeah. Yep. Now, you have to be careful because not a terrible lot of companies use a coin filler, so sometimes when you might find a vintage hard rubber pen without a lever.
And mistake it for
a coin filler, but coin fillers usually have this little this little notch, yeah, this little round part in the middle.
Interesting.
And I do have some pens where they came to me without a lever, and getting a lever is going to be impossible. So essentially, they can be a coin filler, but these were designed that way. So in other words, there's just a sack in there, and it's a pen without a lever.
A lever filler without a lever. You use a coin or whatever to push on that bar there.
So next up, this is going to speak a little bit to how old this concept is. These here, what do you think this is?
I don't know. It's got a hole in the barrel.
You got a hole in the barrel. This here is an Aiken Lambert.
So it must be an eyedropper filler.
This
put the ink right in there.
Yeah. You can see the pressure bar in there, the J bar in there. This is a matchstick filler. Okay. Yeah. So back in the day when you had wooden matches, you'd put the back end of your match in there and then use that to push in and fill.
Interesting. And this is another matchstick filler?
This is another one. This is by Wirt, which is a little bit different. Very unique, because you'll see it has this essentially what looks like a crescent, and we'll get to those next.
You have to line that up with something?
You just rotate it until the hole appears, and then that way nothing can get, when you're done, you just rotate it around so nothing
accidentally push it.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah. So that's where you push it, and then you're good to go.
And that's Wirt?
This is Wirt. Yeah, this is Wirt. Now, while we're still on matchstick.
Coin, matchstick.
Here's another matchstick filler.
Oh.
This one's one of my favorite pens. I literally bought this out of the back of a gentleman's truck in the rain at the Michigan Pen Show one year.
Isn't that how you buy all your pens?
Yeah, I guess sometimes. But this is a Weedlick, and Weedlick and Simpson. Yeah, and so you open it up, and this is a friction fit cap version. But there's your hole, but it comes with your matchstick already inserted. So I won't really press on this because this is hard rubber, but you would put it in ink, and then you could just do this. And then you push down on the bar. Now, oftentimes, of course, as you can imagine, these break off.
Then it becomes a matchstick filler.
Well,
or a toothpick filler.
It is what it is, right? But they gave it to you. And so that's another version of the matchstick. Weedlick was famous for having these little pegs on the top of the cap.
And they still called it a matchstick filler?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we got that. Let's see what else I got here. So while we're talking about weird fillers, let's go here.
Well, it looks like a crescent.
This is a Conklin Crescent, correct. It's an early crescent. It has the early crescent ring on it on both sides.
So does that crescent, is that like a coin for a coin filler?
Yeah, essentially it acts like a coin. Now, these are really interesting because it's a really brilliant design because the crescent is a nice sturdy one-piece bar, and that's the only thing that presses down on the sack.
Oh, the bar is part of that.
The bar is part of this. Yeah, essentially it's, it looks just how it looks. And there's your crescent.
So when you're not pushing
there's not a
coin
separate
against a bar, you're actually pushing down on the bar.
There's no separate bar. So that makes these really, really nice to repair because they're fairly straightforward. But what you do here is just like that wort matchstick filler is we rotate this until there's a slot there, and you put it in ink, and then you press down on it. In this case, the sack is, haven't restored this one yet.
Usually it jumps.
But it'll press back, yeah. And then when you're done, you can do that a couple times, and then you just rotate this so that doesn't press down in your pocket. Yep.
I never knew that was actually part of the bar.
Yes, yeah. I'm very happy that it is that way because this piece is almost never missing. So you never have to worry about a J-bar on these pens because as long as the crescent's there, you just need a sack, and it's really a straightforward repair.
Interesting.
Okay, so there's your crescent. What do we think that is?
Well, it looks like a crescent filler.
It sure does, doesn't it? This is a hump filler, so this is an Evans. It took me quite a while to find one of these that was in good enough condition to keep.
It's going to be the same concept.
It's different, yes, but different. So, and it's actually, interestingly enough, they put the imprint in the chased part of it, which is kind of weird. But you can kind of get the idea here, right? So we've got to
have to turn that.
We've got this here, so we're going to turn this. But then here's what you do: you slide this forward, and then you can use it.
Now, is that pushing down on a bar, or is this part of a bar?
This is. I haven't taken this one apart yet. I think this is also the bar because the whole piece. If you look in there, you see the piece goes
down. Yeah.
So I would be willing to bet that this one is.
So that you have to slide forward, and then you can push it.
Slide it forward, and then otherwise it won't. Yeah, I don't have a sack in there.
Air. I saw air. Yeah.
There we go. And then when you're done, you would just
slide it back
and then lock it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I guess that never gets in your way when you're writing. No, that's way up.
No, it's why it's lined.
And it's lined up.
Lined up, so it really shouldn't get in your way. All right, so here we have something similar but different.
Oh, that is cool.
This is one of Lisa got me this pen for my birthday anniversary one year. Very, very nice condition. This is a John Holland. You can see the imprint there. Patent date of, is that 08? 05, 1905. This is what's called a saddle filler. So this pen came in, these pens came in two different configurations. One with this long slip cap, which was the earlier version. And then later on, they changed it to a screw cap, but the cap was only about that big. It was very, very tiny. Interesting. So this is the early version with the slip cap. And got a model number on the barrel, number 2.
Number 2.
But the way this one works completely opposite of how a lever filler works. Because the lever filler works by pressing down. Pressing down and compressing the sack, where this one pulls up.
Interesting.
So you grab onto the saddle here, onto the sides, and then and this one actually should have a sack in it, so let's see if it works.
You just pull out away from the barrel.
You pull out away from the barrel. I think the sack is bad on this one. Yeah, it's not.
Well, don't ruin it.
Yeah.
You need some saddle soap.
So yes. So this would pull out, and essentially it's a bar that wraps the sack goes through it, and then it pulls and compresses the sack from the other side.
It doesn't come out too far, does it?
No, it comes out not much. It doesn't need to come out much, but you can see how it kind of comes out a little bit.
Saddle filler.
Saddle filler, yeah. And this
Only
was
found on a John Holland?
pretty much, yeah. This is only found in a John Holland. So they made these in a number of configurations, some with overlays and stuff. But this is one of my favorite pens because it's just such a neat, early and clean example.
Yes, it's very nice. And a John Holland.
All right. Next up, we talked about this last week, but I knew I had one, so I thought I'd bring this. This is an AA Waterman twist filler. So I have no cap for this pen, unfortunately, but I've got everything else, right? So this operates by rotating this knob on the end. And I'm rotating this clockwise instead of counterclockwise. And it comes out, and that is going to ring the sack.
Oh, so this is twisting the whole sack. It's
twisting the sack, yeah. And then going back counterclockwise puts it back into normal shape.
Because I had a twist filler.
Yes, you had the Swan. Yeah.
But it has a bar that just wraps around the sack as you twist it. This one, you're saying the entire sack is twisting.
Yeah, I don't. Well, if this comes open. No.
Don't do it.
But
so you're basically wringing out the sack.
Yes, yeah. I knew I had one of these somewhere. So, a Waterman twist filler. We'll do this one next because this is complete. This is the only other one I have here that doesn't actually use a latex sack. So this is
property of what?
This is a De La Rue, an auto, and this was presented to Reverend Woodall in 1910. It's got a nice engraving on this sterling overlay.
He has not come looking for it yet?
He hasn't yet. So, but one of my other favorite things are old pens with overfeeds. I just love how that looks. But this has an over and an under.
Under.
And this one is a plunger filler, which Noto was famous for. So that pulls out. And this one should work, actually. And it fills directly into the barrel.
Oh, right into the barrel. With a nice pop.
Yeah. And this one has a, you can't see, but you can feel the flexible nib on that.
I sure saw it.
Yeah.
This is a very nice pen.
So I must have cleaned it the last time I used it.
Oh, hello.
Not bad for a 112-year-old pen, huh? There we go. Okay.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So I'm gonna empty that out here real quick. So that's a plunger fill, and a lot of your De La Rues are going to be that way. Your earlier Notos are going to have this filling system.
Now, did you push down on that, and at the bottom, it released something?
Yeah, so there's going to be a wider opening on this end. This is going to operate just like your Pilot Custom 823 or your VAC, really. But this design was so popular, and this is slip cap, that you can find early Japanese pens with this same mechanism because they brought in De La Rue's into Japan.
Does that cap screw onto that?
Does it post?
It just looks bigger.
It's friction fit.
Those look like threads.
They're not.
That is a very nice pen.
Yeah. So again, hard rubber.
Why are you stealing the Reverend's pen?
All right. Next up, let's do some thumb fillers.
I bet your thumb is involved.
Thumb and sleeve. So we'll do those next. I've got a couple of them here. They kind of operate on the same principle.
I was going to say this pen has had an operation. I can see the scar.
I have a couple of these guys here. So this one I've showed before. I had this a few weeks back, but this was an early. What did we say this was? Maybe a century or something like that, Byron Hayes or something. But this is a sleeve filler. So on this one, the end of the barrel comes off to reveal the sack and the bar.
And you just use your thumb.
And then you just use your thumb. Okay.
No coin or mesh.
No coin or, yeah, nothing. So it's nice that it's all protected there. It slides off nice and easy. This is Waterman's version, which is fairly scarce. This is a slip cap. And
it's also got a slide.
This slides off. And I don't have a sack in here, obviously, you can see. But Waterman used their little Ideal logo, and they put it on the bar.
Cool.
So Waterman sleeve fillers are very, very hard to find.
Well, I'm looking at one right now.
Yes, you are.
Does that have a number on the bottom?
This is a 14 SF.
It's all fine.
Yeah. These here, so I would call these are sleeve fillers because they cover the hole. But I would call these thumb fillers here. They're very closely related. This one here is a Century from Whitewater, Wisconsin. But this one's interesting because the whole, to get it to move, you turn the whole barrel.
Oh.
And then there's the bar. So then you would just put it in. This one looks like it's got a good sack.
Very nice.
So real easy to fill. And then when you're done, you
cover it up.
And this is a good example of hard rubber that has aged. In fact, that's probably my thumbprint on the pen from water. But this is all oxidized hard rubber. But very hard to find Century pens at all these days, and this one is just kind of neat.
So this pen was originally black?
Yes, yeah, it was this right here.
Okay.
So what I'm guessing probably happened is this pen sat somewhere
like that,
like this.
Because the section shouldn't be.
Yeah, the section shouldn't be, which is unusual for a section to have discolored because usually they're the same color. Let's look at this one here. So this one will operate on the same way. Slip cap this time, and then the whole barrel rotates to see the lever.
I know who makes this one.
This one is. There's no branding on this one. It's a very nice pen that nobody put their mark on.
Huh.
But nice, very, very unique.
Nice job there.
Barrel bands there. But again, we turn the barrel. Now, the last one here, it took me quite a while to find these. Also engraved for, what is this, Bill? 1916. This is an Aiken Lambert.
You are partial to Aiken Lambert.
I am. And Aiken Lambert made a lot of different filling systems, as we've already seen. And these are harder to find than just your standard variety Aikens. But on this one, you rotate the sleeve, not the barrel, to reveal the bar.
Sack. And again, you use your thumb.
You use your thumb, yeah. And this one apparently needs a new sack. But yeah. This one's got a nice little bit larger hole than some of these, so your finger really fits in there nice.
So you said these are thumb fillers, and you're calling these sleeve fillers
because they're kind of a sleeve. Yeah, this is probably considered. I guess you could argue that this is a sleeve filler as well, because you have to move this sleeve to get it to work.
But in the end, you use your thumb on all.
In the end, yeah, you use your thumb on all of these. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up we get to the really weird stuff.
We're not there yet?
We're not there yet. These are the ones I swore you would have said I was messing with you.
Well, there was like a Bleu filler and a Simplicity filler.
Now Bleu filler, I was not able to actually come up with an example, but essentially on a Bleu filler, you would take your pen and there would be a hole in the back end, and then you would literally put it in your mouth, put it in water. And the instructions too would indicate that you would hold the pen something like this, so that you have something to protect your face in the event that the ink bubbles would fly back up and hit you in the face. But you would do this, and then you would blow, which would cause compression in the sack, in the barrel, compress the sack, and then when you take your mouth off, would release, and the pen would fill with ink. So I wasn't able to find one of those. I didn't think I had one, but that's how those work. I'm
going to be looking this up, because it totally sounds like you've made that.
It totally sounds like I made it up, but there was actually, if you look at the instructions on them, they told you to put your hands, kind of like this in front so that it blocks any ink that would come up and hit you in the face. Bleu filler, yeah. Crocker would be the one you would look for. So this is the simplicity filler. This is, I would put this particular pen under the category of very rare. This is actually, so this pen is made by Wirt, but it is stamped R. Esterbrook and Company, Relief 314, with the appropriate Esterbrook marked 14 karat solid gold nib. We've got the Wirt vented feed under there, but we've got this interesting little thing here.
Something.
Yeah.
It's like a resistor or something.
Any idea how this works?
I'm assuming you pull that.
Yeah, so what happens here, and this pen actually I have restored, I have used it. So this pulls out. There's a little ball there, helps you grab the rod here. And then this, you just turn it. So let's see. I'll put it in here. And then I'm going to turn this clockwise.
Oh, are you twisting
There we go.
the sack when you're turning it?
Yeah. So it operates.
Okay. So it's a twist filler with a different means of twisting.
And then it just locks into place. It just slots back in. So.
Very nice. Very interesting.
And of course, it's a relief, so it has a really nice kind of a stubbish nib to it.
But it is a nice nib.
This pen in any normal configuration would be rare as it is, but with the simplicity filler, much more so.
I like it. I'm not sure how I feel about the simplicity filler, but it works.
Yeah, it does. So while we're...
I'm not sure that's the ink we put in it.
No, but I mean, you saw how quick that just compressed the whole thing, and it emptied out really quite quickly. Really holds a ton. But this is a very, very, very scarce pen. I doubt I'll ever find another one like it. Wirt made them under the Wirt brand name, but this is the only one I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Marked Esterbrook. All right,
Esterbrook.
So we have that. We also have...
And you call that one simplicity?
That's called, Wirt called it a simplicity filler, yeah. I know. No nib.
No nib.
But...
And no cap.
And no cap.
Okay.
This is a Williamson. Now, this pen was also made in Janesville, Wisconsin. So finding any Williamson pens are really pretty tough. But this one operates much the same way. We've got you can see how we've got a
staple, basically.
Staple, yeah. And this pulls up. It did this morning.
Well, don't break it.
Well, it pulls up a little bit, and then what you can do is you see there's a little arrow there.
Oh, you twist it.
And you pull it up, and then you rotate it. It goes to the right, or I guess to the left, yeah. Counterclockwise, that you move this, and I've got it started, and then that compresses the sack.
And then when you bring it back, it sucks in the ink.
Yeah, and then it just slots into that hole.
And this was called what?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Same idea, though.
Staple. That's a staple filler.
Yeah, I can call it whatever you want. I mean, chances of you finding one of these are pretty slim to none. This one is an interesting pen. This is, I don't know much about this company, but this is Dr. Faber's self filler.
Oh.
I liked it because of a couple of reasons. One, slip cap. I love anything with the slip cap. I love anything with these double gold barrel bands. But it has as we discussed before, it's marked on the barrel. It is marked Dr. Faber on the nib. And it has the same kind of idea here. So we've got this little lever here. And which way does it go? This rotates. Again, I swore this one worked this morning, but and you just rotate this. Move it one way.
Rotate it.
Yeah, I push it down, and then it compresses the sack.
And what did you call this one?
It's Dr. Faber's self filler.
Self filler.
I don't know anything about the guy, but he made this, and it operates just like that Simplicity filler
Okay, so it's a twist filler
of some sort, I suppose. Yeah. All right,
Dr. Faber.
Dr. Faber, and I think this next one here is our last one. And this is funny because this is a wort, and I've had this pen for quite a number of years. And obviously, you see this end here. You can see how there's a seam there, and there's this knurling here. So obviously, this end is meant to open up. And until about 6 hours ago, I was never able to get this open, even with heat. And this morning, I just decided, you know what? Let's see what happens. And it actually opened up for the first time since I've owned this pen.
And what did it open up to reveal?
And I forget the actual name of this particular filling system, but I'm pretty sure this operates like an eyedropper with an ink shut off.
Oh.
But it's a little bit different. I don't want to pull too hard on that. But that whole end that comes off, you fill it, presumably this way. And then this.
Well, when that's attached.
Yeah. And then that's a lot of threads there.
So this is probably just another.
This could be just another eyedropper. Yeah. But lovely modeling. Nice barrel bands, and then of course the ventless nib. The feed's broken, but
well, this is not a pen you're going to use.
No. Yeah, I would never use this pen. It's just too unusual, too old to use. So I think
you brought the whole museum, is what you did.
Some of them, yeah. So I think that's all I can muster up this week.
Well, off camera, we're going to have to make a list of these so I can list them in the description because, wow, I lost count. I did have them sleeve, matchstick, coin, stud, capillary filler.
Capillary, did we talk about those last time with Parker 61s?
Oh, I don't know.
Parker 61, you'll take the barrel off. Instead of aerometric, you just put the end of the barrel into the ink and then it will wick up.
And I was there, and I don't remember that one, but trench filler, so that was the one with the little pellets.
Yep.
Thumb filler, reverse lever filler, hump filler, saddle filler, blow filler we didn't have, simplicity filler, and a syringe filler, which we're calling the 4.
Sure,
why not? Thank you for bringing all these pens and giving us this tour, but don't think you're getting out of the quiz. Because we're playing this week for my most recent ink of the week, which is Culliver's Ham number 65, the glistening version.
Okay.
Glistening version. And we're playing, this is for Justin because he wants it. So you've got to get 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3, all right.
2 out of 3.
Very good.
And I've got, basically I tried to break them down. The first one is pen related. First question is pen related. Sailor, as you probably know, recently released the Pro Gear Knight to E4, a gorgeous and very limited edition pen that is the first in their Checkmate series. Can you, Mr. Anderson, describe how the Knight chess piece is allowed to move on the chessboard?
One of 2 ways.
Yes?
Either up 1 and over 2, or up 2 and over 1.
I'll give it to you, yeah. It's basically an L. 1 and 2, or 2 and 1. Very good. Almost have the ink. Every summer, we see the return of the downtown Appleton farm market. It's a farmer's market, but they call it the farm market. Can you tell me? It's right out here.
Yes.
Like in front of the store.
Right out front. So if you come on a Saturday, you have to find parking outside of
Yes, because it is
College
right
Ave.
in front of the store.
Yeah, you can't drive down College Ave.
Can you tell me how many years the Appleton farmers market has been going on?
No. 13.
30. It is the 30th
30.
anniversary.
Okay.
It's going to start this coming Saturday, the 18th, and run until October 29th, And as we said, it's right here in college. So you have to get this one right.
Okay.
Otherwise, Justin does not
I
get
can do
right.
it. Usually the third one's the easiest, right?
Well, during the last meeting of the Royal Geographical Society of London, how easy is this going to be, right? During the last meeting of the Royal Geographical Society of London, Earthwatch Institute concluded and declared that this animal is the most important living being on the planet. Which animal?
The bee.
Very good. See? You got it.
I was there. I watched that.
Were you there?
It was on Netflix.
By the way, I wrote this down actually. The bee was pulled over by a cop, and the cop said, "Have you been drinking?" What did the bee say?
I know.
I'm just a little
A little
buzzed.
buzzed. Oh.
There you go. Justin gets his ink. Do you have another joke?
I do. I
Yeah,
have
this
one,
is-
yes.
This is one you were really chuckling at, right?
You know, Lisa's in Chicago. I'm essentially a bachelor,
Okay.
you know, at the house. The other day I ran out of toilet paper.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm now using lettuce. Today was just the tip of the iceberg. Tomorrow remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. We should probably just cut right there and go to commercial. But I have one.
Okay, you have another one. All right.
That is probably worse than the last one. What is the difference, Mr. Anderson, between black-eyed peas and chickpeas?
One's a band and the other isn't.
Black-eyed peas can sing us a song. Chickpeas can only hum us one.
Oh.
Horrible.
Oh.
People will be using it.
Oh.
People will be using it.
Black Eyed Peas and Britney Spears in the same.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
The same.
How'd that happen? Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week with a topic yet to be determined, but it will be menu 11. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
Bye.